This is Jana London, founder of the Natural Women's Council. I'm going to share with you in this very brief presentation some concerns that I have in relation to the referendum misinformation that is being spread by our public representatives, the media, and our publicly funded NGOs. Integrity is doing the right thing, even when no one is watching. But right now we are watching. There are grave concerns and there are questions that must be answered. So who is accountable for electoral integrity? The electoral integrity comes under the public body, the Electoral Commission, and they state on their website that their job is to monitor, investigate, and combat the dissemination of disinformation and misinformation. So I'd like to ask their management team exactly why they are turning a blind eye to the egregious level of misinformation and disinformation being spread in relation to the upcoming 8th of March referendum. Let's talk about the misinformation being spread by Minister for Children Roderick O'Gorman. An article came out on the 12th of February in the Irish Times. Following the article and all of the misinformation, I sent a complaint to the Electoral Commission on the 13th of February. The Electoral Commission came back and said they don't have any power regarding misinformation and disinformation because they have not yet been commenced or put into legal effect by the relevant minister. I replied back to the Electoral Commission on the 23rd of February asking, who is this relevant minister? I also did flag the conflict of interest and the unethical practices of the political parties and NGOs using public funds to sway a yes vote. They replied back stating that this falls under the Department of Housing. They did neglect to answer the concern about the conflict of interest with public bodies spreading misinformation and using public funds to do so. The irony here's Minister O'Brien. Back on July 2023, he feared that AI could be weaponized to spread fake news in the run-up to elections. Well, Minister O'Brien, we don't need AI to spread fake news. We have our ministers and we have our media and our publicly funded NGOs. And guess what? It's under your remit, Minister O'Brien, to stop this misinformation. All you have to do is enact those powers. So I sent an email to Minister O'Brien on the 23rd of February asking why he's not putting these into legal effect. Got a confirmation back that he did receive the email. On the 29th of February, about a week later, I hadn't heard back from him, so I sent it to two other bodies under the Minister of Housing, under Dara O'Brien, the Minister of Housing at gov.ie and the QCS officer. And here I am, still waiting for a response from Minister O'Brien with the referendum just a few days away. Now let's talk about the misinformation being spread by our publicly funded NGOs, one being the National Women's Council of Ireland. And here's Miss Orla O'Connor. Following some misinformation that she put out, myself and the Lawyers for Justice Ireland, Irish Education Alliance and Parents' Rights Alliance sent an email to Orla O'Connor at NWCI and the Irish Times, jointly calling on them to retract the statement published on the Irish Times article on the 6th of January 2024. I won't read all the details because the misinformation was quite detailed. Here's page 2. I didn't hear back from Miss O'Connor or the Irish Times, so I sent a follow-up on the 31st of January to the Irish Times, asking them to publish the joint statement that we issued to them on the 28th of January, and to avoid this clarification would be gross negligence and a public disservice. I haven't heard back from them to date. I sent the misinformation being spread by Orla O'Connor also to the Electoral Commission on the 1st of March. And I got a response back from Ryan Higgins at the Electoral Operations team, thanking me for the email, but again, telling me that the Electoral Reform Act of 2022 provides the Commission with the powers, but they've not been commenced or put into legal effect by the relevant minister. I responded back to the Electoral Commission on the 1st of March, asking if they have contacted Minister O'Brien in relation to enacting the powers to stop misinformation ahead of the referendum. I'm going to end this with a statement that I saw on Twitter from the National Women's Council of Ireland. Now, there's been an eerily similar message from many NGOs that have been spreading misinformation and NGOs supporting this yes, yes vote. They've turned off their comments on social media, and they stated that with a heavy heart, we have taken the decision to turn off comments on our social media channels. While debate is an essential and valued part of any referendum campaign, we have a duty of care towards individuals who are supporting yes, yes. Unfortunately, the level of personalized and often hateful abuse being directed at them means we've made the difficult decision to disable comments. Now, I have spent a lot of time on Twitter since that post looking through many NGOs' comments who have switched them off. I have yet to find one that was personalized or hateful. Instead, the comments are around why are they spreading misinformation, why they are pushing for a yes, yes vote, and stating some public concerns. So I've reworded Orla O'Connor's tweet here, which might be a little bit more accurate. With our heads hanging in shame, we have taken the decision to turn off comments on our social media channels. We have been called out and exposed for spreading misinformation with regards to the upcoming referendum in order to sway a yes, yes vote. We have failed in our duty of care to the public, who provide us with funding of $1 million per annum. We are pushing to erase women, mothers, and home on International Women's Day because our loyalty is with men identifying as women, like the one on our board. The last thing I will advise is that I have flagged this concern about Minister O'Brien not enacting the powers to stop disinformation with a couple of senators, Senator Michael McDowell and Senator Keoghan, who are doing great work on the No No campaign. I have also asked it to be raised in the Dáil, and I sent it to TD Michael McNamara, TD Carol Nolan, and TD Maddie McGrath. So let's hope that we can get these powers enacted and stop this misinformation with just a few days to go. Now, if the yes, yes passes, and if this misinformation was allowed because a minister didn't enact the powers, certainly the whatever outcome happens could be challenged. So let's hope it doesn't get to that. Let's hope we get a no, because the trust in the government is waning and the public want answers. Thank you very much.